In the opening seconds, the camera sweeps through the hallowed halls of a historic courthouse, its polished marble floors gleaming under the early morning light. Over the gentle hum of activity, the steady beeps of a heartbeat monitor punctuate the scene, merging with quick cuts of bustling corridors and attentive faces. In one frame, the focus lands on Marcus, a humble black janitor whose eyes reflect quiet determination and a deep, unspoken compassion. In another, Judge Franklin is seen seated on the bench, his expression one of pensive calm and resolute authority. The rapid montage leaves viewers with a single pressing question. What happens when an unsung hero steps up in a moment of crisis? A warm, resonant voice begins to narrate, introducing Marcus as more than just a caretaker. For years, he has diligently maintained every corner of the courthouse, ensuring that the building's age-old grandeur remains unmarred. Though his role is often overlooked, his steady presence forms the backbone of the institution, a silent guardian in a place where every detail matters. In contrast, Judge Franklin, renowned for his fair judgments and unwavering commitment to the law, has spent his career guiding the courtroom with a steady hand. His life, steeped in the solemn duty of dispensing justice, has been marked by decades of honorable service. Yet today, fate is poised to intertwine their paths in a way that no one could have predicted. The narrative then unfolds to reveal the courthouse itself as a character, its ornate columns and storied corridors echoing decades of legal triumphs and turbulent battles for justice. Every stone in the building seems to whisper tales of past struggles and victories, setting a dramatic stage for what is about to occur. As the voiceover continues, everyday scenes emerge. A close-up of Marcus methodically sweeping a corridor, his quiet efficiency a stark contrast to the intense proceedings that unfold elsewhere, and Judge Franklin reviewing case files with unwavering focus. Suddenly, the heartbeat monitor's rhythm intensifies, its pulsing beeps hinting at an impending crisis that disrupts the familiar routine. The anticipation builds, drawing the audience into a state of suspense. The juxtaposition of ordinary daily tasks with the looming promise of a dramatic twist leaves viewers wondering how the lives of Marcus and Judge Franklin are about to intersect. This opening not only introduces the central characters and the majestic courthouse, but also plants the seed of curiosity in every heart. It beckons the audience to ask, how will the quiet heroism of a dedicated janitor transform an ordinary day? What unforeseen event will compel these two figures, each steadfast in their own right, to rise to the occasion? With the stage set in a space where history and humanity meet, the narrative promises an extraordinary tale of courage and justice that will captivate and inspire, leaving the viewer eager to witness the unfolding of events that are destined to reshape the very notion of heroism in the pursuit of fairness. In the early light of a new day, the historic courthouse awakens to its daily rhythm, a blend of tradition and modern challenges that sets the stage for an unfolding drama. The camera slowly glides through its time-worn corridors, capturing the quiet bustle of everyday life. Lawyers are seen huddled in small clusters in preparation for their cases, their whispered conversations laced with determination. Clerks meticulously organize stacks of files, their movements precise and practiced, while visitors drift through the halls, their hushed voices and furtive glances revealing both respect and apprehension. The ornate architecture, with its imposing columns and polished marble floors, speaks to decades of legal tradition and order. Yet, amid this atmosphere of solemnity, subtle signs of modern stress, a flicker of discontent in a tired clerk's eyes, a hurried step in an otherwise measured gait, hint at the pressures of a system striving to maintain its legacy in a rapidly changing world. Within this setting, two figures quietly emerge as the heart and soul of the courthouse. Marcus, the dedicated janitor, moves through the corridors with an unassuming grace that belies his immense contribution to the institution. Born into humble circumstances, Marcus has worked tirelessly for years, his daily routine marked by an unwavering commitment to his responsibilities. His steady presence ensures that every nook and cranny of the courthouse is maintained with care, and over time, he has earned the quiet respect of a small circle of co-workers who recognize his dedication and integrity. In brief interviews with his colleagues, Marcus is described as a man whose work goes far beyond the call of duty, a silent guardian whose humble origins and steadfast character inspire those who know him. At the same time, the courtroom itself becomes the stage for another key figure, Judge Franklin. Presiding over a high-profile case, his calm resolve and dignified bearing command attention. Seated behind the bench, he listens intently, his eyes reflecting both a deep understanding of the law and an unwavering commitment to justice. His rulings are measured and thoughtful, a testament to years of experience. Yet beneath the surface of his controlled exterior, there are fleeting moments when his fatigue becomes apparent. A slight droop of his shoulders, a momentary lapse in the otherwise steady cadence of his voice, revealing an underlying vulnerability. These brief glimpses of exhaustion humanize him, painting a picture of a man who bears the heavy burdens of his responsibilities with both pride and a palpable sense of duty. Together, Marcus and Judge Franklin embody two sides of the same coin, the unsung dedication that keeps the courthouse functioning, and the relentless pursuit of justice that defines its very purpose. Their stories, though markedly different in role and stature, intersect within these hallowed walls, creating a powerful narrative of service, resilience, and shared humanity. As the day unfolds and the impending crisis looms on the horizon, the audience is left with a deep empathy for both characters, each a testament to the strength of the human spirit in the face of institutional pressures. In this environment, where history and modernity coalesce, every detail, from whispered conversations to the determined gaze of a tired judge, conveys a quiet promise that, even amid challenges, true dedication and justice will always find their place. Midway through the proceedings, as Judge Franklin listened intently to a critical argument, something unexpected occurred. The judge's normally composed face suddenly twisted in pain and disorientation. His eyes, which had so far conveyed a sense of steady authority, now betrayed a deep, unsettling vulnerability. In that fleeting moment, a visible change took over his expression, one of shock and physical distress, and his body began to visibly weaken. The camera lingers on his face, capturing every detail: the furrowing brow, the slight tremor of his lips, and the gradual slackening of his posture. It is as if time has slowed, allowing every viewer to witness the inciting moment when a pillar of the institution appears to falter. Almost immediately, the once orderly courtroom erupted into chaos. The hushed murmur of legal arguments was replaced by a sudden flurry of hushed gasps and rapid footsteps echoing off the marble floors. The sound design intensifies as the rhythmic beeping of a hidden monitor punctuates the air, a stark, mechanical reminder of the gravity of the situation. Lawyers, who had been fully engrossed in their case, now exchanged startled glances. Clerks dropped files in their haste, and even the visitors in the public gallery leaned forward, eyes wide with alarm. In that split second, the sanctity of the courtroom transformed into an arena of human vulnerability. Close-up shots reveal the shock in the eyes of every person present. A seasoned attorney's face, normally impassive during high-stakes arguments, now softened with concern. A young clerk's hands, once steady while organizing vital documents, trembled visibly. The camera captures these raw reactions, a mosaic of disbelief, fear, and empathy spreading like wildfire throughout the room. In the background, the once orderly hum of conversation has given way to urgent whispers and the rustle of movement as individuals scramble to understand what they have just witnessed. The narrative voiceover interjects with a somber tone, explaining that, in that very moment, the life of one of the institution's most respected figures hangs in the balance. Every second feels interminable as Judge Franklin's condition deteriorates before the eyes of the assembled crowd. The courtroom, a symbol of unwavering order and justice, now stands as a stark reminder of human fragility. The tension is palpable. The collective breath of everyone present seems to hold as they watch, helplessly, as a crisis unfolds before them. As the gravity of the situation sinks in, the atmosphere shifts from shock to urgent concern. The beeping monitor grows louder, its repetitive sound underscoring the critical nature of the emergency. Rapid footsteps approach, and aides and medical personnel burst into the courtroom, their faces set in determined focus. The juxtaposition of the judge's diminishing strength against the relentless pace of the emergency response creates a dramatic counterpoint, a moment when the formalities of legal procedure are set aside in favor of the imperative to save a life. In that charged instant, the entire room is unified by a single, overwhelming realization. The very symbol of justice is now in jeopardy. The crisis has laid bare the vulnerability hidden beneath years of authority and decorum, leaving every witness to confront the profound reality that even the most stalwart figures can fall prey to the frailties of the human body. In the midst of unfolding chaos, as the courthouse trembled with shock and urgency, Marcus, the unassuming janitor who had quietly tended to his duties for years, sprang into action without a moment's hesitation. The camera captures his determined face as he abandons his routine, his eyes narrowing with focus. With every step echoing down the corridor, Marcus races towards the courtroom. The scene alternates between close-ups of his resolute expression and wide shots of the escalating commotion behind him, a vivid portrayal of a man propelled by an inner sense of duty. As Marcus nears the courtroom, the atmosphere becomes almost surreal. The murmurs of alarm and the shuffling of hurried feet form a backdrop to his swift movement. In one sequence, the camera follows his steady pace from behind, highlighting the contrast between his calm determination and the pandemonium that has taken over the once-ordered halls of the courthouse. His uniform, typically neat and unobtrusive, now seems to carry the weight of the moment, a silent declaration that his role is about to transcend the ordinary. Inside the courtroom, Judge Franklin lies weakened on the floor, the once authoritative figure now vulnerable in the grip of a medical emergency. Marcus pushes open the door and steps into the fray with clear, purposeful intent. Without wasting a second, he kneels beside the fallen judge, his eyes scanning for signs of responsiveness. His voice, calm yet imbued with urgency, cuts through the murmur of anxious voices as he instructs nearby staff. "Call for emergency help. We need a defibrillator now." His tone leaves no room for delay. Even as his hands work methodically, checking for a pulse, gently tapping the judge's shoulder, Marcus's instructions echo with clarity, directing those around him in a unified effort to stabilize the situation. The narrative interweaves moments of tense action with a profound emotional gravity. Slow-motion shots capture the fragile connection between Marcus and Judge Franklin, a close-up of the judge's hand, weak yet instinctively reaching out, gripping Marcus's outstretched finger. This simple gesture, bathed in soft light and slow movement, becomes a symbol of trust and salvation amid the chaos. In the blurred background, the collective anxiety of the courtroom fades into indistinct shapes, focusing all attention on the human connection that has emerged in this critical moment. Marcus's intervention is depicted not as an isolated act of duty, but as a culmination of his years of quiet commitment. His background, often overlooked and taken for granted, now comes to the forefront as a testament to the power of compassion and quick thinking. In the midst of a crisis that could have easily turned tragic, his actions spark hope. The narration emphasizes that, although his role has always been relegated to the background, his steady resolve and genuine care make him an unexpected lifesaver. His hands, calloused from years of labor, work with a tenderness and expertise that seem to defy the simplicity of his everyday tasks. Around him, the energy in the courtroom begins to shift. The hurried voices soften into whispers of admiration, and even those who had been frozen in shock start to display expressions of relief. Colleagues, witnesses, and legal professionals watch as Marcus continues to administer first aid, his movements precise and measured despite the overwhelming pressure. The camera lingers on his face, poised, determined, and compassionate, a silent hero rising to the occasion. In this dramatic turning point, Marcus's intervention not only saves a life, but also transforms the narrative of the day. His brave actions redefine what it means to serve the community. No longer is he just the quiet janitor. He is now the embodiment of courage and selflessness, a beacon of hope in a moment of darkness. As emergency responders rush in and the situation begins to stabilize, the impact of Marcus's heroism is unmistakable, a reminder that true strength and compassion often come from the most unexpected places. In the tense moments following the emergency, as responders swiftly attend to Judge Franklin and begin stabilizing his condition, the atmosphere in the courtroom transforms in a profound way. The initial panic, which had gripped the room when the judge collapsed, gradually gives way to a mixture of relief and awe. The clamor of urgent footsteps and muffled voices softens, replaced by a quiet hum of gratitude as everyone takes a collective breath. Cameras and smartphones capture the scene, and soon interviews and candid reactions spread throughout the room. One by one, witnesses begin to share their feelings. A seasoned attorney, whose expression had been etched with shock just minutes earlier, now offers a quiet nod of respect toward Marcus. "I never thought I'd see the day when our own janitor would be the hero," he remarks softly, his voice filled with admiration. Nearby, a young clerk's eyes glisten with tears as she speaks in a hushed tone about the incredible courage she witnessed. "It's moments like these that remind us all why we're here," she confides, her words capturing the emotional weight of the experience. In the public gallery, spectators who had gathered to watch the legal proceedings now exchange murmurs of gratitude. Some stand silently, overwhelmed by the sight of a judge who has long been a pillar of the institution, now receiving life-saving aid. Others record the scene, determined to share this powerful moment of human compassion with the world. Each reaction, whether it is a tearful smile, a firm nod of approval, or a whispered conversation of disbelief, adds to the growing chorus of emotions that fills the room. Behind the scenes, personal reflections begin to surface. In a quiet corner, a longtime court employee speaks with a gentle conviction. "I've worked in these halls for over 30 years, and I've seen many cases come and go, but nothing has moved me as deeply as today," he says. His voice trembles slightly with emotion as he recalls how Marcus, once an unnoticed figure in the background, stepped forward to save a life. That day, Marcus reminded us all that courage and compassion are not confined to titles or uniforms. They reside in the hearts of those who truly care, he adds, his eyes reflecting both pride and humility. A whispered conversation between two lawyers further highlights the transformation in perception. One confides, "We always talk about the importance of every role in this institution, but today, Marcus showed us exactly what that means." His colleague agrees, remarking that the incident has stirred a deep sense of collective responsibility. Their exchange, though quiet, carries the weight of a renewed commitment to uphold the values of fairness and humanity. In the midst of the aftermath, the courtroom has evolved from a space defined solely by legal formality to one resonating with the essence of human empathy. The incident has touched everyone present, proving that sometimes the most profound moments of transformation come from unexpected acts of bravery. Marcus, the once unassuming janitor, has become a symbol of hope and the enduring power of selfless action. His heroism has not only saved a life, but has also sparked an emotional ripple that will continue to inspire and reshape the very culture of justice within these storied walls. The video shifts seamlessly to the days following the incident, where the story of Marcus's heroic intervention begins to spread like wildfire. Social media clips capture heartwarming messages and viral testimonials, short, poignant segments of citizens sharing their shock and gratitude with hashtags like #1unsung hero and #1justice saved trending across platforms. Local news segments soon follow, featuring reporters who narrate the extraordinary act of bravery by a humble janitor. Interviews with courthouse staff and community members paint a vivid picture of how one man's courageous deed has become a rallying point for the entire city. In one particularly moving news segment, a reporter stands outside the courthouse, describing the incident in detail while showing clips of Marcus in action, his determined face, his calm hands administering first aid to a struggling Judge Franklin. The segment emphasizes that Marcus's actions not only saved a life, but also challenged long-held stereotypes about who can be a hero. As footage of the moment circulates widely, the narrative shifts to community interviews. A longtime court employee, eyes moist with emotion, recounts how Marcus had always worked quietly in the background, never seeking recognition, until that fateful day. Another interview features a local activist who notes that the incident has sparked a broader conversation about respect, dignity, and equality, values that are too often overlooked. Local leaders quickly seize on the momentum, calling for recognition of the unsung heroes who maintain the backbone of public institutions. In community meetings and public forums, activists and officials alike speak passionately about the need to celebrate those who work behind the scenes. Heroes come in many forms, one community leader proclaims during a televised town hall meeting, and Marcus is a shining example of how everyday acts of kindness can transform lives and inspire systemic change. His words resonate with an audience hungry for stories of hope and resilience. Across the city, community members begin to share their own experiences of overlooked kindness. Social media fills with personal stories. A teacher recalling a janitor who once made her day with a simple smile, a neighbor describing how an unnoticed act of help had lifted their spirits in a time of need. This collective outpouring of gratitude creates a ripple effect, transcending the original incident. The story of a janitor saving a judge evolves into a broader movement, a citywide conversation about the essential role of every individual in building a just and compassionate society. The media coverage and community response not only amplify Marcus's heroism, but also challenge the prevailing narrative about who deserves to be celebrated. In a series of editorials and opinion pieces, local newspapers and blogs call for a renewed focus on respect and equality, urging institutions to honor those whose contributions, though often unseen, are indispensable. The impact of the incident is clear. A single, courageous act has ignited a movement, transforming a moment of crisis into a beacon of hope and a catalyst for change. Through this unfolding narrative, the story of Marcus stands as a powerful reminder that every act of kindness has the potential to uplift communities and redefine what it means to be a hero.